We're watching Week 8.
Week 8! Yeah, Week 8!
So this week is where we find out who is going to playoffs. It is in hot contention. And at the end of this week, we have 3 almost equally likely people to go to the 4th slot of the playoffs.
And
because a lot of cool stuff happened this week.
well, I gotta tell them something.
What?
Well, actually, someday, would you like to, if you wanted to see one of our Minecraft videos, just like and subscribe to see one of them. And if you missed it, and if you didn't like it, you're gonna have bad luck for 100 days.
No, I don't play Minecraft. There are more Minecraft videos than all other gaming videos combined. There's no chance of getting famous off of that. Well, so this is Rossi versus Azoth, our 2 people who don't live in Washington State. So let's see who the better guy is. Which state is better? And, I gotta make sure that... There we go. Desktop audio's gone. So Rossi did his thing where he does his prankster trick of a black sludge, but if he had tricked the choice scarf like a normal trick, he would have been locked into his sword stance.
Let's make it very fast right there.
Hyper fast?
Whoa! That's like,
Oh, that is too fast.
that's...
But he had a grassy seed that he ate, but now he has a black sludge he's holding on. So he's got double attack and pretty high defense. Because
Oh, wait a minute.
Landorus and Lopunny and Grimmsnarl are all physical, and Chansey is like not an attacker at all. But the Blacephalon is kind of scary. He did the fake out to do the more black sludge damage, but
I see the Blacephalon.
no, Blacephalon hasn't been used yet. You will see it.
I really want to see what he looks
And
like.
Tangrowth switches in to absorb the grassy glide, and
I hope he doesn't look that creepy.
he tried to
What?
knock off the black sludge he tricked onto him, but that's probably because he was expecting a switch, because Tangrowth usually has Sludge Bomb. It's like Venusaur, but worse. And the sticky web is now there, and oh my gosh, this has got to be like a defensive Landorus.
This one, that Pokemon, his nickname is
Zapper, yeah.
and that one's Spandolando.
Because that Stone Edge really should have done enough to the Vikavolt, but Landorus is a great counter to Vikavolt. And Bronzong's a pretty good counter to Landorus. But that's lots of hazards and only one defogger. Maybe Landorus has defog, we don't know. I don't know why he switched out his Bronzong. If it has Iron Defense, it can have Body Press. The only thing that could stop the Body Press would be the Blacephalon. Oh no, they both switched out on the same turn, and
Armstrong? There's Armstrong.
That's right.
Whoa! He's so giant!
And he knew that an earthquake was gonna happen on the... It's not even a super effective hit, but he was pretty sure it was gonna happen. But he sacks his Vikavolt anyway. And resets a hail by switching in Ninetales. But he switches in his Chansey, who's super special defensive. And the Chansey uses Wish to heal the Landorus, because nothing else has damage. But he's, the big threat comes in.
Whoa! He's so giant!
Oh my gosh. So the Chansey hits the Conkeldurr with a Seismic Toss, and then gets hit by a Drain Punch. Takes 100% damage, and it heals the Conkeldurr back to full. What was it at before?
What the heck? It's getting himself hit. What? He just responded?
Look, he tries to knock off the Eviolite or whatever switches in. So it goes from 15% all the way to 100%, and then that's a forfeit. I don't know why he forfeited.
How did that pink one, that pink Pokemon just respawn like that?
I don't know why he didn't do his Blacephalon, or at least try, or he could have done some Intimidate switches. But yeah. I don't like that Rossi forfeited. And then we get Jacob versus Alex.
I like the oof in his name. I like the oof in his name. I like the oof. I like the oof.
So if Jacob wins this, it pretty much guarantees my chance of going to playoffs. But
Yeah.
so Alex leads Rabambi. They both do their webs, their hazards. Runerigus, not Runaringus, and not Reuniclus. Uses Stealth Rock, Rabambi uses Sticky Web, and then defogs both of them. Because his Pokemon switch out a lot and don't have much health.
Question mark?
And he knocks off the Runaringus with his Incineroar switching. But that gives the Runerigus Intimidate.
No.
And he hits him with the Body Press for 65%. But that gives him the Wandering Spirit. And gives Incineroar the Intimidate again. But it's a mixed attacker. He knew he'd get intimidated, so he overheats. But it really could have... No, he was getting knocked out, so any extra damage. But the knockoff still would have 2KO'd. He defogs the rocks again. So far it's only hurt this Rabambi who's defogging. If he gets rocks, then that takes out the Runerigus. But this Caesar is scary. Pretty much nothing on Alex's team wanted to take a steel priority attack. We get the fake out on the Caesar from the Metacham switch in. And Psychic Surge is nice because it gets rid of his Caesar's steel priority. But it's terrain battle.
Terrain battle. I like that word. Even when
And the energy ball takes it out after a sticky web speed drop. So he switches in his Caesar. And that makes him switch out his Defiant. Because he expects him to defog away the sticky web. But instead he gets knocked out by the dual wing beat. Because he's still weak to a flying type attack. And I think since it's a double hit move, it has enough base power technically to get boosted by Technician.
Tommy,
Cobalt, are you gonna get up here? And he expects him to fake out again, so he switches in his ghost type. And it works, but not really. Cobalt.
Huh? I'm looking the other way. Huh?
And then the imposter transformation gets rid of the stat drop from the sticky webs. And now he has a choice scarfed Ditto. A choice scarfed Mega. Isn't that awesome? But he's kinda... I don't know why he went for the really risky play of high jump kick. When, because I guess he's more worried about the Weevil than the Tapu Lele, because the Tapu Lele has like a quad resist to high jump kick. But he should be able to use his... Oh my gosh, the U-turn did enough. Oh, what? But Tapu Lele's Psyshock was enough to knock out the Electrode in one hit. And it has Hidden Power Fire for the Caesar. And this Poison type isn't gonna survive a Psyshock. I really wanted Jacob to win. But Tapu Lele's too powerful. Now, normally, a Caesar should be able to knock him out, but this guy gets rid of all priority attacks. So if he's scarfed, he's unbeatable. So David has only lost once so far. And that was to the other rain team. And the one at the bottom of the thing. But he has Tyranitar here, so he can counteract this Pelipper. He's a little bit more equipped than most teams. David leads Barraskewda. Dylan leads Intolon, and then switches into Deoxys, and the Deoxys takes a flip turn that does 51% damage. And he flip turns into Swampert. Swampert Mega evolves, uses Earthquake. But luckily the Deoxys defense had Reflect, and it was enough to make it be able to survive the Earthquake. But he hits him with the Toxic, because he's expecting some sort of switch in. And he's trying to sack his Deoxys here. He only wants to do one thing of screens. And the ice beam gets the freeze on the Swampert. That is amazing. No one's ever gotten frozen this entire season. And that gives Inteleon the opportunity to use its focus energy and then its water attack, knocking out the big threat here. Pelipper comes in, sets up the rain, gets hit by a crit ice beam because of the focus energy. And then uses U-turn, and the U-turn only does 6% damage. But he switches in his Scarfed Zapdos. The Zapdos uses Hurricane, does his 49. Without this light screen, that would have KO'd. But he gets hit by the crit Ice Beam. His two major threats are just gone now. And then in comes Barraskewda. Barraskewda with the Swift Swim. The Flip Turn does enough to knock out the Inteleon because the Reflect is gone. And he Flip Turns into his Celesteela. The light screen is now gone. He sets up the sand with the Tyranitar, gets rid of the rain, uses his Fire Punch, which doesn't do enough. It does 35%. But his Tyranitar gets hit by a Leech Seed, loses 12%, heals the Celesteela up to 84. Oh my gosh. And the Celesteela has too many mixed stats to be able to knock out the Earthquake, knock out the Dracozolt. And nothing, and his ground type is gone, so everything is vulnerable to a Bolt Beak. But David sends in his Pelipper to redo the Barraskewda Swift Swim, but the Pelipper gets hit by a Bolt Beak. And just to mess with the plan he had, he sends in his Tyranitar, sets up the sand, so he's still dumb fast. I guess this only makes sense if he has a Scarfed Kartana, Alakazam, or Dracozolt. And everything's carrying Brick Break, so Barraskewda had Brick Break instead of Close Combat. In comes the Scarfed Dracozolt. And I'm pretty sure the Barraskewda had Choice Band. And that Bolt Beak did 100% damage to a Slurpuff, even with a Scarf. And then he knocks out the whole team. But Inteleon got 3 knockouts, Dracozolt got 3 knockouts. This battle made no difference on the playoff standings because they're both guaranteed. David's guaranteed to go, and Dylan's guaranteed not to. And we're pretty much the only teams that it was certain for. But this Dracozolt's super scary. If Swampert had lived, he'd probably not have his Dracozolt. And, but the freeze on the Swampert made a huge, huge difference. And it was at the bottom of the battle reports anyway. No, it wasn't. It just ended up there. That's weird. Okay. And then this is Taco. And then this is Jack. Taco says Oompa and leads his Mega Mile. But Jack leads his Rotom Heat, the perfect counter to Mega Mawile. So Taco switches in his Garchomp. But Jack expected some sort of switch, so he uses Volt Switch, but the Garchomp absorbs it. Garchomp has Surf. I don't know why he has Surf. I didn't know he could get Surf. Wouldn't that hurt to swim in the water?
Baby milk.
There's no reason not to have Stone Edge instead.
Baby milk.
But Jack somehow knew that he was switching as an Empoleon and had the water resist. Although it still would have resisted Stone Edge. And he switches in his Mawile into the Empoleon because at least 1 week it was a physical attacker. And the Volcanion switch to absorb the second Scald. And the Focus miss. But the Volcanion gets toxicked by the Empoleon. And the Empoleon is Protect stalling the Toxic. And he doesn't go for Focus Blast again. Although Jack sends in his Fighting Resist, Taco switches in his Garchomp, which is probably the best guy for Earth Power. See, Earth Power is way worse than Stone Edge.
Can I see?
See what? You're watching. And the Rotom has Hidden Power Ice, but
Banana
Volcanion
seed.
Quad resists Ice.
Banana seed. Baby milk.
He doesn't go for a second Earth Power because he knows he's going to protect that turn. So he goes for the Focus Blast, but he goes for the double Protect.
More banana seeds?
And the Volcanion takes the toxic damage. And this generation, Victini gets a ground type move called Scorching Sand. And 4 out of 6 of Taco's team is weak to ground. Oh, it's Life Orb for the coverage. But he knows that the Earthquake from the Darmanitan is going to be too much, so he switches out his Victini and switches in his Levitate, his Rotom. But Taco goes for the double coverage and uses Rock Slide twice, because he's not necessarily scarfed. But he is choiced, because otherwise he'd be able to Earthquake the Empoleon. So Rotom Heat gets knocked out, so Jack switches out his Empoleon, and Taco switches out his Darmanitan. That turn, so that his Togekiss gets hit by a Scald. But he has leftovers, so it barely did any damage. And he's going for the Air Slash flinches. He doesn't have Aura Sphere on this set. And Jack manages to get a Toxic on the Togekiss, unlike me, and he's Protect stalling it. That's what he does. But the Togekiss has Wish, so that he can buy inferior products. And Yawn. That's weird. He's got Wish and Yawn on his Togekiss. But Jack switches out his Empoleon after his last protect he can do and uses his electric type. He's going to try to thunder something. But Galvantula can outspeed a Garchomp pretty normally, but he sets up the sticky webs with his Aragog, which is probably going to make a huge difference. That negates Darmanitan's Choice Scarf. It negates anyone else's potential Choice Scarf. But he sends in his Garchomp because he's expecting Jack to thunder. Although he's probably got Hidden Power Ice on his Galvantula. No, he doesn't. So he switches out his Glysaur, but the Glysaur gets hit by Surf. That's what Surf was for. It was just for Glysaur. And it does way too much. It does 65% to the Glysaur. So Jack switches in his Empoleon to resist the Surf. The Surf does 9% damage. He heals for 6%. And like always, Taco sends in his Togekiss. It gets hit by a Scald for 25%. Takes a little bit of toxic damage, and he's going to set up a wish now. Who's he going to wish pass it to? We'll find out. But Victini also has Glaciate, and the Glaciate knocks out the Togekiss. And so in comes the Mawile, gets the Intimidate that doesn't do anything to the Victini. Well, it might be a mixed attacker, who knows. And in comes the Empoleon, but the Mawile does Swords Dance so it can Sucker Punch everything. Because without Sucker Punch, you pretty much can't knock out a Victini. But the Scald does 42% and knocks out the Mega Mawile. In comes the Darmanitan. The Scarf Darmanitan, the Rock Slide just doesn't do enough. He was hoping that he'd be able to... I don't know why he used Rock Slide. Flare Blitz would have done probably enough, but the Bibbidi Milk. The Garchomp comes in and uses Dragon Pulse and knocks out the Empoleon, but gets hit by a Bug Buzz. But the Galvantula goes down to another Dragon Pulse. And so he sends in Zarude because he loves it when, Jack loves it when Zarude gets KOs. And, he's probably banded, but who knows. And so, because if it wasn't banded, why would you close combat the Garchomp? GG, that ending was Zarude. Bruh, what was that Garchomp set? You were all special moves, but according to my calcs, you had, like, no special attacks investment. It was the Please No Burn Me set. So yeah, thanks for watching. That was week 8. This last week is week 9. And there is still contention over who gets to go to the playoffs. So it's still worth watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and buy all the t-shirts.